Hello and welcome to Paxton Road TV, PRTV Spurs, the reaction show. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. We gave you the opportunity to just chill back, take the result in, think about it, because straight after the game, everybody's going to be effing and blinding and whatever. Now you've had a bit of time to just relax, think about it. Let's do the reaction show. Welcome to the reaction show. Tottenham Hotspur beat Brighton and Hove Albion 2-1 yesterday. And boy, did we make hard work of it. Joining me to do the reaction show is the one and only Mr. Sean Hurl. Shawnee, good afternoon. How are you? I know you were just telling me just before we went live how you was after the game, so you can tell our viewers what your thoughts were, and now we've calmed down, we can have a civil conversation and dissect the game.
Yeah, I mean, probably when you're watching the game at the time, it's much worse than is that my phone going?
Yeah, I think so.
Don't even know where my phone is. Anyway, I'll let it ring out. But yeah, it's difficult to know what to do at full time. But once you've had 24 hours to reflect on it, I've had a few chats with some friends of mine, and I'll probably bring what they bring to the game rather than what I got to the game. So yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, do you know what? I was texting obviously people throughout the game on the WhatsApp group and that, and there was a lot of stuff flying. People were happy, people were angry. There was a lot of stuff going on in that game yesterday, and I'm with what Madison's saying. We actually want to win a game comfortably 3-0, not sit back, not have to wait till the last few minutes to try and win the game. We're making it hard work at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We're making it really hard work at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We've not actually put any teams to sword and walked away with it thinking, you know what, that was a nice, comfortable win. We always have to work and wait till the dying seconds of a game or something like that, because this is Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And no matter which players, which managers we've got, we tend to always keep the fans on the edge of the seat. There was a few that left at the final whistle yesterday. I'm being one of them because I couldn't see us getting the winner, and I was getting so frustrated. I left with about 2 minutes of added time to go, and as soon as I left the stadium, obviously we got the winner. So a lot of fans, I think, left the stadium as well. So I just want to go and watch Spurs at home and just feel relaxed after X amount of minutes, because we've won comfortably. We haven't, have we, Sean, this season? We've just not been comfortable, have we?
No, and it's quite funny. It was I don't know whether you've seen the Spurs play a review show, but I did chuckle when Madison was asked. He said, "God, I'd love to have an easy 3-0 win,"
Yeah.
And we haven't had one of those. But it's the nature of the game. Teams have worked out how to deal with us now. So at the beginning of the season when we were kind of new, we were maybe getting away with things. And it's up to us to respond to the opposition, and I think you could say it helped yesterday that we actually had a bench to choose from, for example,
Yep.
Which we haven't had in the past. although again, we'll probably get into it. The substitutions. I've got some thoughts around the substitutions as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we're going to be comfortable. I'll tell you what. The only important stat that really counts is that we've got more goals than our opponents have when the referee blows the final whistle. And you could see the reaction of the players from Vicario to Romero to Maddison. They were really, really happy with it. And let's be happy. Let's of course get the 3 points and move on.
It's like Juice Nutsy saying here, good afternoon, Jews, and good afternoon, everyone who's joining us on PRTV Spurs. Make sure you've not subscribed. Make sure you subscribe. Tell everyone all about us. Want to progress. That's to be expected. Foundation work being laid out. And I think exactly that's what it was. We're work in progress. We're way ahead of where I think Postecoglou expected us to be. I think we're way ahead of what the Spurs fans have expected us to be. And we're still, we're still up there for the top 4. We're pushing. All our players are fit now. So it's work in progress. I think first time we've seen Bentancur, Maddison, Saw, Obasuma, whoever together. And some of these lot coming back from injury as well. So we've got to, we've got to give them time. This is brilliant what's happening with Spurs at the moment. And now it's like next season is where the progression gets even more, further and further. I think this season is just an added bonus of what fans, this is what to expect from this football club under me, as in Postecoglou. So it's good times. So let's go to the dissecting. 2-1 then, as we can see. Right, Sean, what I've done now on this one is I've done the overall stats. And because it was a game of 2 halves, I've done it into first half as well and then second half as well. So we'll do overall, which was 53% possession to their 47% possession. We had 16 shots on goal in total. Brighton had 6. 6 on target for Tottenham, 3 on target for Brighton. Off target, we had 4 shots. They had 1 off target. Shots inside the box, Tottenham had 10. Brighton had 5. Shots outside the box, Tottenham had 6. They had 1. Accurate passes, 445, which is 85%, which is 391 to them, 83%. 445, which is quite low for Spurs, because considering we're normally in the 60s. And overall passes, 525 to their 471. So, before we go into the first half, second half, overall then, Sean, being at home, are you happy with them stats?
Well, I mean, the thing is, they kind of contradict what the eye saw. I mean, from the eye test, there's all this, there's always this theory about stats versus what you see with your own eyes.
Yeah,
they don't look right. They just don't look right, because what I found, what I kept seeing was Brighton bypassing our press at will, particularly in the first half. But again, when they regained control in the second half, they seem to be bypassing our thing. But you can't deny, looking at those stats there, we deserve to win. If it's about comparing stats on stats, we've had more shots, we've had more shots on target, we've had more shots inside the box, we've had more accurate passing, more passes. It suggests that we were worthy of our 3 points. I would say that was not the story of the game, and that Brighton were very unlucky to at least not get a point. And possibly, if Ansu Fati had taken that chance, which I think would have put them 2-0 up. Yeah, it would have. Oh no, it would have been 2-1 up. I think they might well have closed out the game and won the game. So it's why I don't hold It's interesting to see the stats. I like seeing the stats, but I don't really hold any anything by them, and it's about how in control of the game we were, and for long periods of that game we were not in control. And to be honest, I loved the way Brighton played. I thought their passing, their ability to pass out of the press was unbelievable. And they were cutting through us like, you know, a hot knife through butter at times.
Yeah, it's like Jude's Nuts is saying here, stats sometimes don't pass the eye test. That's why maybe you need to go Specsavers or even select Specs. A little bit of a win there.
There are other options available.
Absolutely. Do you know what? I was at the game and looking at these stats, right? I'm like, have these been made up? Because we've always said, and I've always said it, when you're actually at the game and when you're watching it on TV, it's completely different. You see the whole picture, pardon the pun. When you're actually at the ground, you're seeing everything and everything. Before we continue, we have our very own Mr. He's gone from being hot to now he has become, and he's brought it with him. He's brought the rain. Mr. Sam, how are you?
He's muted.
He's muted.
Any better?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Cool.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. Yeah, I couldn't get home in time, so I thought I'd just do it from where I am now. As you can see, a little bit hot, but it's not Jamaica hot, it's gym hot. So that's about it.
Fair enough. Right, so we've just done the stats, the overall stats. Like I said,
put them back up. Put them
that's
back
what
up.
I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Sam, what I'm going to do is I'm doing the overall stats first, and then I'm going to break it down into the first half and second half, because we don't normally do first half and the second half. But yesterday's game, I think we need to do the first half and the second half stats, because when you see him, you'll be like, wow. And it'll probably be, you know what? Yeah, exactly what it is. So overall, Sam, 53% possession to us, 47% possession to them. We had 16 shots. They had 6. We had 6 on target. They had 3 on target. 4 off target to their 1. 10 shots inside the box. They had 5. We had 6 outside the box. They had 1. 85% accurate passes to their 83. And we only had 525 to their 471 passes. I asked Sean the question, what do you make of them stats when you actually now looking at them after watching the game?
So we've talked about this previously before. Had we done a reaction show straight after the game, I know for myself, I would have been, I wouldn't say angry, but I would have certainly been probably similar to how Ange Postecoglou in his straight after post-match interviews, you know, with the ones they do with the BBC and Sky and all the rest of it. Because all you're seeing Brighton, who beat us 4-0 previously. You're seeing them almost dominating the early parts of the game, you know, getting that penalty, looking like Danny Welbeck, as I said, expressions put it right. Looked like, what did he call him? He looked, I can't remember what he said, but he looked like prime Ronaldo, R9. And this can't be right. So yeah, it was a case of damn Spurs, blah blah blah. Obviously take the win, and then you look at the stats. And what I've done is I looked at watch match of the day, and if you condense this down, that's a good performance. It's just the parts of the game were in phases. First half wasn't good. Second half started better. Then we got the goal, and it was a little bit, but then we obviously got the win. So overall, satisfied.
So this is the overall stats, right? Now, when I'm looking at this, and I think Sean said the same, you'll be like, really? Honestly? Did we really? But let's break this down then, right? Because first half, and I think, Sean, you mentioned it, they were slicing through our midfield. Do you know what? And I said it to somebody, I think I said it to the guy next to me. Every time they got the ball from their keeper and they passed it out to their defense, the ease of the way they got through out of that defense into midfield straight into our half. Every single time they were just finding them passes, and the passes were just boom, 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 and they're in our half. The opposite to us, Vicario gets the ball, messing it around at the back. This simple passes that could be done or thrown, he doesn't do it. it takes us an eternity to get out from the back, and then we lose it in the middle because they were pressing on us and they were winning it constantly. And it happened time and time and time again in that game. And I just couldn't understand what was going on. I mean, we all begged for that midfield. We all begged for that defense. And then Brighton yesterday were just, you know, and don't forget, guys, Brighton were missing a core of their players. There was a lot of players they were missing. And yet still yesterday, I mean, Mitoma for them yesterday coming back made a massive, massive difference. So if we break it down then into the first half, lads, this is how it was, right? 53% possession to Tottenham, 47% possession to Spurs, to Brighton, which I thought was quite weird because I thought first off, they had majority of the play. We had 7 shots, they had 4. 2 on
first
target.
half stats.
This is first half. 2 on target. They had 3 on target. We had 3 shots off target. They had no off target. Inside the box, 6, 3. Outside the box, they had 1. We had 1 each. Accurate passes, 218. They had 190. And then total passes, 252 to 229. This is first half. Yeah, and we're the home side. Okay, we had 7 shots, but only 2 on target and 3 off target. Is that about all right? Is that about all right, Sam, Sean? For a home side?
No, it's not good. It's not good for a home side. But again, you know, again they appear deceptive. You know, I mean, 7. I mean, I do remember a lot of shots being blocked. Richie certainly had a couple blocked, and I think Kulu did as well. And the only ones I can think were on target was, I think there were consecutive shots. One of them was Werner. His was the second, and I can't remember who the other.
Richarlison.
Yeah, Richarlison. Yeah. There was the Maddison shot which skimmed the post.
Yeah.
But I can't remember. You know, and again, those stats flatter us. I mean, 80% accuracy. I just didn't see that.
No.
All I kept seeing was passes going astray, passes being played behind, you know, making a player check his run when he needed to. There was that, you know, chance that Richarlison went through and he just, his layoff to Maddison was dreadful, which, you know, we should have been going 1 ahead. It was, and yet again, I saw Brighton taking control, cutting through us. Their ability to break through the press was unbelievable. I mean, there was one, I think it was in first half stoppage time. There was Gilmore, who I thought was absolutely excellent yesterday for them. Absolutely had a brilliant game.
He ran the show.
He was absolutely brilliant, and he showed some of the touches that he had at Chelsea. And you know, I still to this day don't know why Chelsea got rid of him. But there was one pass which was like, it was so brave, yet it just cut us into. I think he was playing from like the left back position, and he cut inside, and he released his fellow midfielder. I can't remember which one it was now. I just thought, oh my God, if only we could do that. You know, I compared that with Bentancur dawdling on the edge of the box, which led to the penalty. You know, and then there was a pass on, and he tries to dribble it away. And I just thought, just get it. Kulu was waiting to receive the ball, you know. Oh dear, and it was very, very frustrating. The first half was particularly frustrating, and Brighton were well worth their half-time lead. They could have been 2 up, you know. I mean, Vicario made 2 really good saves in the first half.
Yeah,
which people seem to forget, you know. So we could have been 2-3 down. And then obviously, you know, the changes in the second half, but you know but again, statistics don't tell the whole story. I'm sure Sam probably would agree with me on this occasion. You know,
we'll do the second half. Sam, do you want to have a quick thing on the first, and then I'll let you do the second?
Yeah, as I said, you can always, and this is hence the reason for having stats, because it kind of balances arguments, or you can go for and against it. For me, it was more of an eye test. In terms of accurate passes, yes, we had 252 passes, 280 of them accurate, if you want to call them accurate. The problem we've got is where we gave the ball away. There was a couple of occasions. There's a couple of occasions on the edge of our box. I remember Destiny and Doggy giving it away. I remember Bentacle being rolled up from a ball from Vicario, which eventually got taken away. It's the areas in which the ball's given away, hence the reason for the eye test. And that's why you get all irate. The other thing I want to mention is we were probably a little bit anticipated. Oh, we've got most of our squad back now.
Yeah.
As Ange said in his pre-match, we can't just expect to go out there and do what we do and win the game, even with them having a lot of players missing, because they're very much in the similar mindset in terms of their philosophy as we are. If you actually watch the game again, which I did again, it was a very back and forth. They made mistakes, we counter-attacked. We did the same, but it's where the ball was given away and what they were doing to be able to, as Sean said, they got round our press because that's what we do. So they know exactly how to get round a style of football that we play. And vice versa. I think second half we got to grips with it more, and first half we was just a little bit, not even shell shocked. Just shit, Brighton, they're doing it again. They've got all these players missing. We've got our best team here. Why shit? And that's what I think the mentality was. And Ange kind of alluded to that in his post-match press conference. But at the end of the day, we won the game. Now the stats would back that up if you look at the stats overall. But when you watch the game in spells and phases, we made too many errors in costly areas, in my opinion. And that's the difference between the two teams.
I think like you said, Sam, it was like a to and fro game. We got the ball off them. They got it back off us. And it was just about pressing us at the back. Both teams were pressing each other, winning the ball back and counter-attacking. The only difference for me was theirs was much faster and quicker than ours was. When we got the ball back, we was running out of options. We was running out of ideas. There was a few times when Maddison got the ball and he was trying to do too much, not looking up.
Sid, just the other thing I just wanted to add. The other thing that was biggest for me, they looked more likely to score when they got in the final third.
Yeah.
We got in the final third loads, but I was never like, oh yeah, this is going to be a goal here. I think Richarlison had one where I was thinking, and Maddison one which is curled around, and that was in the first half. But when they got through, when Matoma got through on that left-hand side, I'm thinking,
goal.
Damn, this is a goal here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking when Pascal Gross picks it up in the box, and I'm thinking, shit, he's going to do so. And he almost did. So we can't make mistakes in both boxes, and that's the biggest thing which they always say. You can't make mistakes in both boxes. You have to be aggressive and have to take your chances in both boxes. And what I mean by that is defensively, you can't give the ball away cheaply. And in the attacking third, and particularly in the box, you have to get strikes off at goal, and you have to test the keeper more than we did.
I really feel sorry for the fans in the Paxton Road end, because they very rarely see goals, man, in that end. Never ever, you know what I mean?
That's why you get the posh
but we pay a premium in the South Stands. We pay a premium in the South Stands.
Forget the South Stand. Go to the posh seats, my friend. West Stand is where it's at.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous, man. Us lot in the Paxton Road end, man. We're not seeing goals. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? We need to change it. We need to change it up. Right. So this is where now, second half, 52% possession, 48% possession. A difference of about 1%. 9 shots second half. They had 2. So the difference second half, straight away. We had 4 on target. They had nothing on target. We had 1 off target. They had 1 off. Shots inside the box. We had 4. They had 2. We had 5 from outside the box. They had nothing from outside the box. Accurate passes, 227, 83%. They had 201, 83%. And 273 passes to 242. So second half, straight away, we've had 9 shots, 4 on target, 1 off target, 4 inside and 5 outside the box. It seems to be now, I don't know if you guys agree, but it seems to be the norm now for Spurs. Second half, we come out, whatever he does, whatever he says, we come out with a little bit more aggression, ascendancy, and then we start pushing teams. So first off, second half, again, look, I knew it from the stadium, and I think we said it, and I said it at we need to make at least 3 subs straight away second half, because that first half was just, in my opinion, I think it was poor, very poor, and it needed to be changed. There's a lot of players off. Kulu was off par. I think Bentancur was off part. Destiny was doing too much with the ball. Werner, for somebody who you've bought in for pace and who can run 100 meters in X amount, why are you not passing the ball beyond him to run into space? Instead, you're trying to bring him into the middle of the pitch to try and get the ball and then try and go out. It was just not working. And I think a majority of the Spurs fans in that stadium, I think, were feeling the same. Like, he has to change it up second half. So, Sam, second half then, obviously it's slightly improved. But again, we'll talk about why, because we brought substitutions on and that sort of changed the game for me. But up until the first 10, 15 minutes of that second half, what did you make of it?
I expected changes at halftime. I expected the 3 substitutes that come off around about the 60-odd minute or 59, 62, whatever, it was 63 minutes, something like that, were the 3 subs that I'd chosen to come off at halftime. Bentancur, Kulu, and the other one was, remind me, Werner, was it?
Werner, yeah.
Yeah, so they were the 3 that I'd nominated to come off. I was surprised it took a little bit longer. But again, we're not in a dressing room. We don't know what was said. We don't know what the players' motivation was to come back out in the second half to prove. But it started better, but it still wasn't for me. I used the word gung-ho. I wanted them players to really go for it. They went for it, but again, Ange again alluded to it. They're a good team. And regardless of who they've got out, and we have to look at ourselves in the same way, the thread of their philosophy runs through the whole squad. So if that's the case, anybody that comes in should play the same way. It's the quality levels that are different. Now, had they had quality levels yesterday, Brighton, I believe that they would have probably scored more goals in that first half and probably got more goals in the second half. Because I said, we can't be getting 3 goals to win every single game. Luckily, yesterday it was only 2. But I think if Brighton had their better players than shooting boots on, we would have probably needed 3 or 4 goals to win that game. And hence the reason why when they beat us 4-0,
4-2.
we can't be doing 4-2. Sorry, well, it was 4-0 up, but they eventually beat us 4-2. You can't win games of football every single week by outscoring the opponents. If they score 3, you score 4. If they score 2, we score 3. At some point, we're going to have to take our chances clinically and just make sure that the other teams don't get too much of a sniff. Now, is that going to be the way that we play with Ange? No, it's not. So now we have to have quality in the place. Now, Son has shown that that's the quality that we need. I'm hopeful now going forward that with the players that we now have and the quality that we do have in depth, that's going to be the difference for us. I think we're still going to play exactly the same way, though.
Yeah. Sean, second half, I mean, should we be doing this from the beginning and trying, like you said, like Madison said, try and make it comfortable for us rather than second half performances? Shouldn't we be doing this from the offset, straight away from kickoff, try and get as many goals in, get the attacks going forward, and then try and be more comfortable? Or like Sam said, is this just how it's going to be for the remainder of the games?
No, it's very easy to say what we want, but whether we get what we want is another matter. I mean, I think and is wedded to a style where it's about scoring more goals than the opposition, and continuing to try and score goals because that's how you win games. Yeah. And I don't think necessarily that's a bad strategy if you've got quality up front, which we did once the substitutions have been made. I think once we get past the stats, there are certain things I'd like to discuss about our structure of play and the substitutions. Yeah. Which will be which I'll probably throw things up, because from things I've read from people who seem to be more in the know than I am, you know me, I'm very much on the eye test. So yesterday was not a good day. You know, on the eye test, we should have lost the game, possibly. Yeah. A draw was possibly the best we could have got. But, you know, statistically, we can say, well, you know, more shots, more possession, more accuracy, more, you know, eventually over the 97 minutes, the result was right. But it, you know, you can't base your arguments on stats. I'm just very happy that we got the points, so we move on. Yeah. But there are things I'd like to talk about things that happened during the game for certain.
We'll do that. I mean, we've got positive Pav in the house. Welcome.
Hey.
Good afternoon, Miss Pav. Where have you been? We've not seen you for ages. We
I
have
know.
missed you. We have missed
It's
you.
been work. It's just been taking over my life at the moment. I've not had my time, but I'm back, guys.
That's
So
right.
bye.
Well, welcome to teaching. Welcome to teaching.
Tell me
Exactly.
about it.
It's like, you know what? It's like they say, like the deserts miss the rain. Girl, I miss you. Like the deserts miss. Oh, like Sam is missing the sun. Pav, we've just been discussing the overall stats and then the first half and second half. I was sort of keeping an eye tracks on you on your Twitter and your comments and stuff like that. What did you make of the first half and then the second half performance yesterday?
First half wasn't great. I mean, we weren't playing as well, and then obviously we conceded that pen. That challenge, I'm a bit 50-50. I don't know. I didn't hear what you guys were saying about the pen and what you guys
I think it
thought
was a
about
pen.
it. Did you say you did think?
I think it was a pen.
Yeah,
When
that's
the
why
bench
I'm
got him.
50-50 on it as well, because I feel like it looked like it was pen, but who knows? And then obviously the way that we were playing, I don't think it wasn't great at all. I wouldn't say, like Sean said as well, same with the second half and stuff. Like, I would say that we didn't deserve the 3 points. I think maybe a draw we deserved, but I'm gonna take it. We got the 3 points in the end, and that's how we're doing it at the moment, is that we seem to be scoring last minute wins. So do you know what I mean? But
Who doesn't love a last minute winner?
that's what I'm saying. And the feeling was amazing in the end, because obviously, like, we were on the edge of our seats and we're like, oh my god, like, are we gonna score? Are we gonna score? And obviously when Johnson scored, had to wait a bit, because I was like, wait, is it gonna be like offside or something? Is something gonna happen? But then obviously we got it, so I can't really complain. But yeah, at least 3 points are in the bag. We can't ask for any more, can we, at this point?
I think it's
Well, we can, but we'd be being greedy.
Yeah, I think performances
No,
wise,
you know what I mean.
we're expecting better performances with what we've got, the talent we've got, right? But at this current stage, are we now saying points are better than performances? Because the overall, what we've got to look at, the overall target is Champions League, right? Now, do we want to see a good performance and lose the game, or do we want to see an average performance or below par performance, but we're winning the games to get the points, which will penultimately take us into Champions League next season?
Listen, from my perspective, it goes by what the manager says. The manager isn't putting the emphasis on points. He's about improving the team from the start to the end. What comes with that is obviously results as you improve. So that's the philosophy. I'm good with that. No problems. For me, from my perspective, at this stage of the season, it's all about points. You know, if we'd have come away having played brilliantly yesterday and it was 2-2, as I said, what would we be saying here today? We'd be like, damn, we was at home.
Last week we've done it. This week we've done it. Yeah.
Because it is about winning the games of football.
Yeah.
When you get a last minute winner, it kind of almost takes away all the other stuff because you've won the game. In the cold light of day, which we're doing now, you analyze the performances and you see, well, where did this take us for the next 14 games? And as I said, if I'm basing it on how we're playing and how we're playing at home at this moment in time, I don't think it's sustainable for us to be in contention for third, fourth, second, whatever it is we're chasing at the moment.
Yeah.
But as we've just now noted, the quality difference. We've got the defense there. We definitely got an abundance of midfielders to choose from. And if we can get that front line in terms of Kulu, maybe Werner and Johnson being a little bit more consistent, Richarlison and Son are that consistency at the moment, there's no reason why we can't really push on. But these are the little things that what we want and what Ange wants are two different things depending on what the game is.
Yeah, I think the fans want entertainment football because what we've got in terms of the players that we've got, the players, the quality we've got.
If I'm honest with you, yesterday I didn't want. All I wanted was 3 points.
Yeah.
I saw I didn't get to put my score prediction in, but it didn't matter how, because I've seen what Brighton do. We know how Brighton play regardless. So you know it's going to be a tough game. So
Yeah.
all you want to be able to do is win your game. Yes, the bonus would have been come away 3-0 like what they did, 4-0 at Art, whatever it was. But the reality is we're not in that position because of how we are as a team and how we play.
Exactly.
So,
and at the end of the day, what do points give you? Prizes. And what's the ultimate prize? Champions League for next season. Right. So we all said it in the groups. Sam, Sean as well. We said it on the preview. The team. I'm going to start with you, Pav. Everybody was back. Everybody was saying, and I even predicted Son was going to start with Johnson on the right. But hey ho, what do I know? I'm not the manager. I don't get paid to pick these players. But this is what he went with, which was basically, I think, the same as last week. Pav, was you expecting then Bissouma, Son to start, or was you happy when you saw this team?
No.
I've got a bit of a lag there.
I know.
And that,
Yeah, it's laggy. I can't hear you guys. I'm assuming you said, was I happy that Son...
Was you expecting this
what
team
were you saying? What was the question?
The team that was put out yesterday,
right, okay.
was,
yeah,
was you expecting that?
Fair, right? I did not.
You need to put the
Yeah,
team up on the screen.
She's gonna be answering tomorrow.
Right, there it is. It's up there. Right. I didn't expect Son and Bissouma to start anyway.
Okay.
Only because obviously they have just come back, and I had a feeling that Hange would let them come off the bench and play rather than just completely start straight away. So I wasn't surprised there. What I was surprised with was I had expected Johnson to start instead of Kulu, so that was quite surprising, but I'm not complaining at this point, obviously. It was good to see Kulu playing as well, but other than that, no, I very much expected everyone to start with that up there, so yeah. Right,
cool. Sam, Sean, quickly, just brief one, and then I'm going to ask you all three of you a question. Sean, was you expecting this lineup?
I think we kind of expected the unexpected, so it wasn't a total surprise to me said that this was the team that was picked.
Yeah.
We seemed to be once it was picked, I was more than happy enough to go with it, and see how it would get on. I mean, obviously, it came, quickly it became aware that there were some limitations, particularly about because of the way that Brighton had prepared for us. But yeah, it wasn't a total surprise. But it wouldn't have been the team that I would have thought he was going to pick. No.
Okay. And Sam, were you expecting Biss and Son to start, or were you expecting the same old from last week?
No. From a perspective of management, leadership, motivation, getting players to play, I don't think it would have been right to just start all those players, because it would have meant Sarr starting, Bissouma starting, Son starting. All of them players have just been away AFCON. So you've got to keep motivation levels high. You've got to say to the players that have been playing, yeah, we want you to play. Obviously, that's a little bit of, there's got to be a little bit of, manipulation in there, because you want to get your best team out, but you also want to make sure that your best team is motivated. And as I said, I don't think you can just change all them players. Going into it, though, I thought Son might have started instead of Werner. That would have been the only thing that I would have probably changed differently.
Cool. Right, so question I was going to ask you guys, right? That team that was put out first half, I know what Eddie Ryan is saying here. Madders had a bad game. They're also talking about the goalkeeper doing them silly passes from the back. Eddie's saying is that keeper needs to stop giving them silly hospital passes to our players. Right. So this team then, going forward, does Bentancur keep that number 6 in your, because what I saw yesterday, I think he had another poor game first off. I think Basuma comes in there now for me. Question marks for me on Kulu on the right. Question marks now for Werner on the left. So, question then, that first off performance, are these players getting too comfortable in their positions? I'll throw it out to all of you. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll because I might be kicked out of this room in a minute. Sorry, I don't think it's it's not a case of being comfortable. Yesterday was a case of we got caught by a team that knows how to play us, that basically plays us in a very similar way. So it was a case of like, yeah, you can't take liberties with a team that anticipates where you're going to make your passes. Patterns of play is what we have. So you roll it out to that number 6, it then gets distributed out to the wider player. Brighton knew that. If you watch the game, particularly when Bentancur got caught out, when you rolled it out to him, you shouldn't have rolled it out to him, but that's what they've been doing all season. So if you watch any Spurs game, the first pass is usually going to be into the 6. The next pass might either be back to the goalkeeper or back to one of the centre backs. Or if you can got space and you can turn, you may play it out to your wing back, your full back. Or if you've really got a lot of time, you can then get it into your forward wide player. Brighton knew every single aspect, because all you've got to do is anticipate where the next pass is going. And that's what I've been doing in all of my coaching sessions. When you're going to be talking about pressing, you have to anticipate where the ball's going. That's why teams, when they press, they say, well, you've got to press as a group. That's exactly what Brighton did to us. That's why we looked on the eye test so bad, in my opinion. So we've just now got to, when we play teams like that, we've just got to be better, and that's quality.
Pav, what do you think?
I think Sam is actually spot on. I think Brighton sussed us out completely, and they knew that what we were doing. So they were able to spot the sorts of things that we were doing. And I think one of the comments was about Vicario and things like that, about the silly passes. I completely agree. I mean, Lloris used to do that as well sometimes, and I didn't agree with it at all. And that's what, even one silly little pass could literally cause like a massive bad impact on us. And we just need to be better. I completely agree. Sam, you said it spot on. We just need to be 100% better the next time. And we can't let these teams realise and notice the things that we're doing, because then that can have a major impact on the game overall. And if we carry on like that, then we're going to see big mistakes going forward. We just need to we've got Wolves next week. We've got to be 100% better. We've got to stop making these silly mistakes. And there was another comment about Maddison as well, about how he was having a bad game. Some of the things that Maddison was doing was just I didn't agree with. I don't know what you guys think, but I did not agree with some of the things that he was saying what we're doing. And it was just a bit like, what's the need kind of thing. And then he got carded, didn't he? He got a yellow card in the end.
But Pav, I'm coming to you in a minute, Sean. Pav, with Madders, and Sean will probably back me up. How many times was he getting fouled a game? Constantly, right?
Yeah.
And when he did get the ball, where was the movement? There was a lot of times there was no movement for him at all. So he was trying to find space, and he was trying to, yes, them little touches that he was doing where he was going one way, then the other, and then whatever. And there was no movement whatsoever. So he did have a bad game, but then the players around him need to be more supportive of him and ask for the ball. And I think a lot of them were going missing yesterday. And I think that's mine. Sean, what was your perspective on this? And obviously the team that was put out first off.
I was particularly in that first half, I was trying to work out why it was that not only were Brighton prepared for us, but we seemed to be playing straight into their hands.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you follow. There's a guy called Harry Brooks, who's a sort of he's a coach and an agent. He works with very young players.
Right.
And he was saying that we were very narrow in our approach. It was almost like Van der Ven and Romero were in a parallel with Udogie and Porro. So we were in a box rather than in a parallelogram.
Yeah.
So we weren't creating the angles and therefore making Brighton run a bit further. in order to cover us. So we actually played a little bit into their own hands, and that made sense to me. And to be fair to Maddison, you know, I'm going to give slack to Bentancur, and I'm going to give slack to Maddison, because they're coming back from injuries.
Yeah.
And they're coming back from injuries, and they're getting slapped and cut down. And again, I felt the referee gave them no protection yesterday. No protection. So they weren't good. No, Bentancur probably, I think when Basuma came on and took that role, he said that, for me, he said, that's my role. That's that, you know, he put his stamp back on that position.
He did straight away, didn't he?
Yeah.
As soon as he came on.
But then again, I want to talk about the substitutions as well. So I think that was the problem for me, is that we weren't actually we didn't present enough angles to and made it easier for Brighton to cut off our passing lanes. And it was only once we'd adjusted things at half time, after a flea in the ear from Ange, that we got some control in the game. But I think Harry Brooks, I really recommend his Twitter feed, his X feed. Really good. He does kind of does it during in game as well. I think he's a season ticket holder himself, so he's probably at the game as well. But we were too narrow, too narrow, and in a box rather than in a, as I say, like a parallelogram, or we were just too rigid. It wasn't enough fluidity, and that you need to create those angles, those triangles, which Brighton did really well.
Yeah.
That's what they were doing in front of their back four.
And
they also deployed a centre back. They did something different. They allowed one of their centre backs to go 1-on-1 with Maddison. Yeah. That Heidegger, I can't remember his name now, but he had a brilliant game because he went everywhere with Maddison, and it made it very, very difficult for him to impose himself on the game.
Yeah. Just gotta say a big up and a huge hug from Denver, Colorado. Good evening or good afternoon, whatever time zone you're in. Mile High Hotspur, thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. From America. Sean, what you were saying, I agree. When Vicario got the ball, Maddison or Basuma were coming in close to get the ball. Then, like you said, the parallels, Van de Ven, Romero, Destiny, and Poro was just, when the ball was passed to Maddison and then back to Romero or whatever, there was no angle. And they were coming at us, and then we became so narrow, we didn't know what to do. And then it go back to Vicario, and eventually it just get kicked up into middle of nowhere, and they got the balls and they were coming straight at us. And it happened time and time again. And it's like Jules was saying, we need to cut that out. He needs to be more aware. We need to be faster, and players need to respond quicker. And like you said, find them triangles to get the ball out. Because like I said at the beginning, the way Brighton got the ball from their keeper, it was ping, 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 and they're gone. They were gone. And we were like, what the hell's going on here? And every time the keeper got the ball, you knew within seconds that ball was going to be in our half and we were going to be panicking. And it happened time and time again. So, Pav, I'm going to ask you this question then, because I know, Sean, you want to talk about it. These substitutions then that happened, the first two, it was two, wasn't it, first? The Kulu and Werner came on.
Three came on at the same time.
Right, so that's the three that came on. Johnson, Son, and Basuma came on for Bentancur, Werner, and Kulusevski. Were they the right substitutions? I personally said at halftime that they should have come on straight away. So, were they the right substitutions to make at the time?
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, they should have come on straight away. Obviously, we needed them on. We needed that creativity then, and then Sod coming on, Basuma coming on, and then Johnson coming on did definitely change the game. We obviously saw a much better side after half time. So Ange obviously had his words and stuff, but them not made a major impact on, and Johnson especially.
Yeah, Sean. For me, and even Pav, for me, the turning point of that game, right, was when Son took his top off. Yeah. And the fans, the stadium went absolutely ballistic, right? And as soon as he came onto the pitch, the reaction he got and what he done, because remember, he just came on straight after the goal.
Yeah.
As soon as he came on, he ran into that middle of the pitch and his hands just went, come on, come on. And the whole ground erupted, right? A substitution being made. I have never seen something that, I don't know, have an impact, because the whole ground was shaking when Son came on. And to see his reaction, that's my captain. That's who I want. You know what I mean? You've not played. You've been away for whatever. You've come onto that pitch and you're just saying to the fans, in a way, I'm back and I'm here and I want you all behind me. And that for me was a turning point. You know what? It nearly brought a tear to my eye, because that amount of passion, you know, and Postecoglou said that people don't realize that this guy is world class. What was your thoughts on that, Sean?
Well, you could say, I don't want to raid on your parade here, but I thought the substitutions were too early.
Did you?
Yeah, because we had actually wrested control of the game after half time.
Yeah.
And the reward for Bentancur and Kulu and Werner, having wrested control back from Brighton, was to be hooked. And let's have it straight. After the substitutes came on,
yeah,
Brighton got control of the game again. Let's not have it any other way. Brighton got control of the game again because they changed the team.
Yeah.
And to make those substitutions, particularly after they just scored, I thought was poor. And and for the second week running, I think Ange has got his substitutions wrong. Last week he did too many subs, and he should not have withdrawn Højbjerg when he did, because it meant that we didn't have anyone patrolling the front of the back four. And this time I mean, he'll argue, and he'll have every right to argue with me, and I know he's got much more experience than me, that his substitutes worked in him, because two of them combined to score the winning goal.
Yeah.
But we lost control of the game, having won control back from the game and just scored.
Yeah.
And I get, Son came on and how it was good for the fans, but we lost control of that game. If Fatty scores that goal, the game's over. We lose 2-1.
But the subs...
We lose 2-1. But the subs combined at the end, and that maybe because Brighton were tired, because that was one thing we do make them do. They had to chase a lot to cover the ground. And maybe the fatigue was the what, because I do believe the guy that was hounding Maddison all game was left upfield, and it left them a bit short at the back. And we'll take the points. And just got a point up on me, but I do feel he conceded control of the game. But, which those players had done their best to wrest control back from.
Yeah, but I think as well, damn substitutions were going to be made. They were ready to come on even before we scored. So I know what you're saying, but they were ready. They were ready already to come on, and then we scored. And then I thought, is he going to tell them to sit back down? Because like you said, we're in the ascendancy now, but he decided to make them substitutions. So I hear what you're saying.
There was nothing he could have, if he'd given them 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
5 more minutes.
I think so. Yeah, you're right.
I think it might have, we might not have had to use them.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And then maybe,
I think it's fine lines. Fine lines.
Pav, do you agree with Sean? Should the substitutions not have happened at that time? Or
I think it's Sean, I get your point of view completely. I do. I understand where you're coming from. I still think that he should have brought him on earlier. I think he should have just brought him on straight away after half time. I think it would have brought a lot more creativity on that pitch. And I know we had scored the goal and then he obviously straight away brought on the subs, which I get where you're coming from. But I think had half time just happened and he just brought him on straight away, we'd have instantly taken more control of that game.
I think David is saying here, the sub who changed the game from the moment he came on was Basuma. Just look back at the game from the moment he came on. His power and composure changed that part of the field, which set the scene. As soon as he came on, the first thing he did was took him out, didn't he? Completely took that player out, didn't he? Yeah. I can't remember who it was. Right, so a little bit of an disagreement on that substitutions. Then, obviously, now this one, right? And I want your opinions on this. So for Højbjerg, I can understand that because him and Maddison were both on yellow. And just after he got the yellow and he scored, after that, I think he made one challenge, which we went, oh shit, he's off here. But the referee sort of probably said to him, your final warning. And from there, I thought Son was going to go off. Now, with Højbjerg, Skip was getting stripped. Skip was ready to come on, which I thought to myself, why are you bringing Skip on and Højbjerg on at the same time? That would have meant a midfield three of Højbjerg, Skip and Basuma, which I thought was strange. And then obviously Udogie went down and Ben Davies came on. What did you make of that, Sean, if Skip had come on? Because initially Skip and Højbjerg was going to be the two substitutions.
Yeah. Why is it you always come to me when we talk about Oliver Skip? It's just because I love the boy, you know. And you,
no, it's not that.
I mean, to be fair, I would have kept Skip as the sub and left Højbjerg on the bench because I'm sorry, I just saw him giving the ball away too many times again.
You see that one pass that he did?
Some of the passing was, oh my God, is he? And yet, surprisingly, in one of the goal celebrations, he was the most committed I've ever seen Højbjerg in terms of like joining in with a goal celebration.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of the strangest. To me, Skip is by far the better substitute for Sarr than Højbjerg ever is.
Yeah.
Højbjerg is a Bentancur Basuma sub, that position. So I was surprised at that. But, you know, obviously, I think Ange tends to like the fact that Højbjerg's got a bit of experience and maybe, you know, we've got a young team and that's why he went for that. It was right to take Sarr off because, like you said, he was on a yellow and he had that challenge, which on another day he gets a second yellow. Yeah. And he gets a red card. So it was right to do that. And obviously his mind was changed when Udogie went down injured and he had to, and luckily we have Davis, who is a left back to come in and do that role. And I don't think Davis did anything particularly wrong while he was on the field. So that was fine. But yeah, the secondary substitutes I'm less hooked up, mate, is those first substitutes and the timing of the first substitutes. Either half time or 5 minutes after you've got the game back to 1-1, yes. But immediately after you've just got control of the game back and have equalised, adrenaline's pumping, crowd are up. Nah, it seemed the wrong time for me.
Let me tell you something, right? This is what my boy goes to me, yeah? Do you remember in the second half, Højbjerg got the ball. Johnson was running. Yeah, the ball was there. The ball was there to play behind Johnson, for Johnson to run into that space. And if you remember, Højbjerg played it in front of him and Johnson had to come back to get the ball and then he lost it. My boy turned around to me and said, this guy, does he not, he has the slowest rate of reading a game. He said, you see your man is running, gonna go run past the defender into space, and he plays the ball in front of him to his feet. He says, does this guy not know how to read a game? And I said, you know what, son? You say this week in, week out. We've gathered that. And I think it's going to be one of them things where it's never, ever going to change. And I just had to laugh. I thought, you know what? It's Groundhog Day, week in, week out with Højbjerg, because some of the passing, when he gets the ball, some of the thing that he does, you just think to yourself, what is wrong with you? You're so experienced, yet you're making stupid, simple passes or stuff that you can't even do. You know what I mean? So there you go. Right. David Clock is saying here, if Skip and Højbjerg had come on at the same time, then Ange would have made the same mistake as the Everton game. Instead of Ange ball, it would have been Conte ball. Changing Ange's DNA. I think it probably, yeah, I think I agree. It would have made no sense. I don't think it would, unless Ange's probably trying to see the game out. But Brighton, the way they were attacking and that, it just wouldn't, you know. We've lost Pav. She can't get back into the stream. Let me just say, she's just texted me. I'll try again, but my Wi-Fi is playing up. That's not a problem. Right, so the goal. We've got to talk about the first goal, right? Because
yeah, I want to talk about the first goal. Yeah,
we said Bentancur was not fully fit. We have said Bentancur gave the ball away quite a lot, but the persistence. He picked up that ball. He made a few runs with it. Then he got lucky with a little bit of a ricochet, but he did not give up. And the composure he showed, then to pass it on, and then Kulusevski's through ball to Saar. And then obviously people might say, well, you got lucky. But at the end of the day, when I look at the replay, I thought Saar should have squared it to Richarlison. But fair play to him. And then fair play to him to get it back off the post, off the rebound, and slot it into the back of the net. Go on, talk to me about the goal.
Two things about the goal. Kulusevski's pass was absolutely spot on.
Yeah,
it was, and you know what? He might not have had his best game, but I tell you what, he took an awful lot of battering. He was persistent, and he created our first goal. It's that pass to Saar. Now, interesting enough, you say if Saar should have crossed it to Richarlison. That was his intention.
Yeah.
However, if you look at the play beforehand,
he was offside.
If Richarlison had scored, he was offside.
I know. I saw that.
He would have been offside, and the goal would have been ruled out.
Yes.
And what cojones to take the ball on your weaker foot in such an acute angle and put it in the back of the net.
Yeah.
That young man is a future Tottenham Hotspur star.
Sweet goal. Had composure.
Absolutely superb. And I'm so pleased that he was scouted by Fabrizio. He's done us a real job there. Yeah, absolutely, you know, brilliant. Yeah.
He seems to get better and better as the more he plays, and once he's sat into that midfield with a comfortable, consistent three players, I think the best is yet to come off Saar. And I think there's going to be a lot of clubs going to come looking for him, because this guy's, like you said, he's got composure, he's got quality, he's got pace, he reads the game. I think the only way up for this guy is very, very high. And we've got to appreciate who we've got, what we've got, and we've got a player in the making. David, we did say about Maddison, his passing. We've already mentioned that. So
because when Maddison loses the ball, it's usually in the attacking third. When Højbjerg loses the ball, it's on the edge of our box. That's why he gets it. For God's sake, David, you're not comparing apples with apples. You're comparing apples with blue cheese. Unbelievable.
Right. Then, obviously, the second goal. And how many weeks have I been saying it, that we're going to end up going from a son to a son to a son to a son? And it happened again. Yes. From Maddison to Richarlison to Son to Johnson. And I read a lot of messages on social media in the WhatsApp groups about people saying that Johnson was going to hit the bar or hit it into row Z. Man, I had confidence in that guy, even though I missed it. I had confidence in that guy when that happens. But the pass from obviously Maddison to Richarlison, who ran onto it, threaded the ball to Son, who done very, very well to stay offside, and then to play that a knife through the butter ball on a plate, on a sixpence. If that man would have missed that, yeah, I swear down I would have killed Johnson myself. Yeah. But like they say, and a certain pundit who used to play for Tottenham and played for Chelsea, who hates Spurs, Mr. Jason Cundy, even he said there's no better way to win a game than almost the last kick of the game. He said, even though it's Tottenham, he said that is no better way to win the game. And what a way to win the game. That is it then, isn't it? That's like, thank you, one bam, thank you, see you later, let's go. What did you make of that goal?
Do you know what? I mean, I've watched it back several times now, and what I'd like to say is the technique, because that ball is actually in the air when it reaches Johnson.
Yeah.
And much like, you know, you have to have a second look at Richarlison's first goal against Everton last week to appreciate the technique.
Of course.
The fact that it was slightly off the ground and that he managed to control it enough to get it into the roof of the net was phenomenal. And I'm so happy for him. You know, he's a kid, 22. Get off the boys' back. So many of our players are so young, and we're expecting them to be Champions League winners. It's ridiculous. We're only 2/3 of a season into a new project, and we are going really, really well. We ride our luck. We did ride our luck yesterday. Some could say that we had a bit of bad luck last week, with the last minute goal.
So roundabouts, isn't it?
It is swings and roundabouts. I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased with some of our attacking play. I just hope that we learn to be a bit more forgiving of our young players and enjoy it.
It's becoming.
What was the pre-season prediction? 8th, maybe even in a relegation battle.
And look where
we are. Here we are. We're in the top 4 with
and Johnson
dozen games to go.
Johnson's now becoming like a lethal weapon, isn't he? Bringing him on in the second half for pace, and he's getting a couple of goals now. Winning goals as well. So, Pav left us because she had Wi-Fi issues, but she's joined in the comments. Sorry, guys. Wi-Fi was playing up. A couple of things I wanted to say was wicked goal by Johnson. That lead up from Madison, Richarlison, Son, and Johnson was amazing. Also, Richarlison is a new man, and I love him. Although he should have buried that one in the first half. David Clark, we never pressed them high up like Brighton did to us. We allowed Dunk to play like a quarterback. It was ridiculous. Yeah,
no, it wasn't Dunk. It was his partner that was playing like a quarterback.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they were pressing us proper, and I think we're still work in progress. So let's see. Romero had a decent game. Did you see that bit when
Romero was probably our man of the match? Actually, I thought yesterday.
Yeah. Did you see that in the first half when was it Richarlison didn't pass to him and he nearly kicked the shit out of the goalpost?
I've seen the still of him kicking the post. Yeah.
I think because Richarlison, or was it Kulu, didn't pass to him and he went, because I missed that, but my son goes, Dad, did you just see that? And I went, what? He went, Richarlison didn't pass it to him and Romero's nearly kicked the goal post off the ground. Frustration. So there we go.
Did you see the post-match reaction with him and Vic?
Of course.
Throttling each other.
Of course.
Like a throat.
Brilliant. This is the thing, isn't it? The reaction. I mean, Dragusin, when he come running onto the pitch, saw all of them. It's just, like you said, we've said, the team, the togetherness with these lot now is just awesome. And like you said,
we've got a really likable team.
Yeah. And he all stems from the manager.
All the players are, there's not one player that you'd say,
he's not on board. This is it.
Yeah.
And these phone calls that Angie's making is telling them you're on board. We're 1 for all and all for one. So fantastic. Right. So thank you, everyone, in the comment section for all your comments. Thank you to David, Clark, Juice Nuts, obviously Pav as well. Thank you to Mile High Hotspur from Colorado. Thank you to everyone for joining us. Eddie Ryan. Please make sure, if you haven't already, subscribed to the channel PRTV Spurs. Sean, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for your comments as well. Thank you for all your input into the reaction. We move on now. 3 points in the bag. We're 4th. Villa play Man United today, so hopefully we'll draw or Man United to win. And then we move on to Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Another must-win game. 3 points at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Sean, final thoughts, and then we shall leave.
Final thoughts. It wasn't great, but statistically, we deserved to win the game. On an eye test, we were very lucky. But I'll take the 3 points every day of the week. I'll take another performance with the same result next week and the fortnight later after that. If it means that we've got 9 out of 9. That's the way it's got to be. Sometimes you have to grind out results, and this is where, you know, the difference between Champions League. I mean, if we were, I mean, someone said if we won all the rest of our games, we'd get 89 points, which this season could win the league.
There you go.
There you are. But I don't think it's going to happen. I'd be very surprised if it happened. It would probably finish me off if we did win the league. But no, I think let's enjoy it while we can, and come on, you Spurs.
This is it. Sometimes you got to take the rough with the smooth. Performances aren't always going to be brilliant. But then, do we want performances over points, or do we want points with a little bit of a poor performance? I'll take the points all day long. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great weekend. Well, it's almost finished. Have a great week. Make sure you join us for the preview show of PRTV Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Thank you very much. Come on, you Spurs!
Develop,